Welcome aboard The Nichole Show with host Nicole Hamilton. Our task is to educate, empower, and change lives. Join us for stories of resilience and rebirth. Honest talks that inspire and challenge you. Are you ready to make a move? It begins now. Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to The Nichole Show. We have been a little inconsistent this year, so please stay with us as I'm recalibrating as much time as I can put into this. But I am super excited today to have a beautiful brother that I've met through the electronic frequencies, Harrison. He is also a spiritual coach, light leader, healer, and literally just fell in love with your energy and your content. And I was like, this man's got something to share. And I know this lights me up. Connection is key for me to be able to share stories and put our content out there. So this is another way, another platform for this. So, and Harrison is in my favorite place in the world, in Bali. So I'd love you to just introduce yourself, my friend.
Well, firstly, Nicole, thank you for having me. Thank you for opening this portal to have a conversation, deep heart to heart. That's only where I live at the moment. I mean, physically, as you just said, I'm living in Bali, and I was pulled here by the frequencies, by the people, by the water, by the energies of the island that I'm sure you've connected to. But I spend most of my time when I'm not like in the physical in Bali enjoying myself. I spend most of my time online, where you found me, helping spiritual light workers, mostly helping versions of me tap into more of their impact, right? Is the simplest way I can say it. So sensitive souls, heart leaders, spiritually awakening beings make more deep expression in the world, right? So whether that is writing a book, whether that's launching a podcast, whether that's making a retreat, whether that's getting a workshop flowing, all things I've done in the past. And now I sort of hold the hands of other sensitive light workers to do the same.
I love that. And what I'm hearing there is, a real step like from that heart into the courage, which is where it comes from, right? Is, guiding them, having that support, that hand to help them really step into their power. So that's just, amazing.
Courage and, another synonym for that, fierceness. Because I know in my journey, and maybe you can relate to this, Nicole, that it's so easy to stay as the monk on the mountain. And what I mean by that is, I've spent a lot of time in India, and India is a good example of this. You'll meet so many beautiful babas and gurujis that are just in their world and just staying in these places and enlightened and doing amazing things. And I see it and I feel it. And I think there's a large population of us, you and me included, that are here to step into the masses to say, hey, I'm here, that you don't have to do this alone, that, if you need a hug, if you need some love, if you need another heart to reflect from, let's walk this awakening hand in hand.
Yeah, I love that. It is really like, I feel like it's the the light and the dark, it's the 3D and the 5D, it's the masculine, it's the feminine, like being able to bring it, to the frequencies, to the waves. It's beautiful to have all these spiritual workers, but to come in and shake it up for the other people and say, hey, you've got it within you too. Like, I see you, I feel you. Like, how can we be best of service? And for me, I love being on camera. Like, I love sharing a message. I love using my words. And it just became, okay, well, how else can we do more? And when I first started my journey, there wasn't podcasts and there wasn't anything to go for. You had to literally go searching yourself. And so for me, giving everybody a platform to share their journey and their heart, because that's all we're here for service, is we're going to find other people that we genuinely connect with, that we feel safe with. And we're like, okay, you've been through this too. Yeah. And perhaps you have some insight or just some, support that you can lend. So I would love to know a little bit more about your journey, Harrison. Like, how did you get here? Like, what kind of inspired you to get to this place?
Well, what I was going to say, Nicole, and it resonates to your question, as you were sharing there around utilizing these tools and utilizing these platforms and utilizing podcasts and social media. There are many points in my journey that I could speak from, but I'll speak to that part here in this moment. In 2019, 2020, as we all went through, I was
Mm.
locked down in Coffs Harbour, east coast of Australia, and at that time on my path, I was working in gyms. I was a personal trainer, working on the physical body, helping people expand the foundation that I now really teach about is where the sort of light and the energy moves from. But I was locked down. I was suddenly everything was taken away from me, and I couldn't leave my home based off the choices I wished to make with my health. So I was given the opportunity: stop everything, or
Mm.
go online. Stop
Mm.
everything, or start using these technological tools. Podcasts, social media, Clubhouse was an app that I used, and start spreading my voice, much like your beautiful journey, and continue the purpose. Even though I didn't know what was happening, even though I didn't know what the next logical step would be, there was a feeling of, oh, I know I'm walking a path, and this choice of suppression versus continuing to expand my light, I'm going to take the awakening. I'm going to take the light. So that was 5 years ago now, and it's really blown up to a lot of the videos and the things that you've seen on my social media feeds.
Mm. I love that. I love that. Um, and how to then, I'm just so curious how to, you've obviously jumped into these platforms. You're like, okay, let's use my voice. But then how to, from the PT to the spiritual and emotional and connected human that you are now, like how that must,
Yeah,
that's a big jump,
it's a big
that is
jump.
a big jump. Mm.
Well, I could give you, I'll answer it in one word and then I'll go deeper into it.
Okay.
The one word is love, or the one word is heart.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is I wasn't just a PT. I was the PT in the sessions between lifting weights, where I'd be having deep and meaningful conversations with my clients, asking them about how their love life is, how their intimate home life is, how they're feeling. They lifted that dumbbell, but what's going on inside? So I've been
Mm.
for a long time, I've been very attuned and sensitive and empathic to people's nature, right? Their deepest nature. So I didn't know it back then, but there was a pull for something more.
Mm.
So basically, I just courageously kept choosing those steps, right? Courageously kept choosing the more of me. And I seeked out mentors. I seeked out education. I seeked out containers to hold my fullness, even though I didn't know that's what it was at the time. So I
Mhm.
could meet it on the inside. So yeah, I did many things. I went to a spiritual mystery school. I went into psychology. I went into, the chakra system. I did a lot of awakening moments. And now it's really expanded the channel that really allows me to really lead fully, almost fully, with my heart on most days.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. It just, yeah, it is. And it's kindred spirits, such like-minded souls. So I started as a beauty therapist,
Love it.
my businesses, and knew that I wanted my motto to be helping people on the inside and out. But I didn't have any, like, I couldn't prove that. I just knew people loved my energy. They would always walk away saying, I feel so good when I'm around you. And I had that like-minded, like, I just love, helping people and holding space. And, people find it very easy to open up to me very quickly. And yeah, and then here I am, God, I can't remember. It was 2009 I had my beauty business. But, many, many
Wow.
moons later, I just started studying and went through my own journey of my own spiritual awakening. And, now I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, a healer
Mm.
of many, many modalities. And I know that I can feel it. I can empathically feel when people open up and have that healing on the inside. So it's so interesting that I knew I wanted to help people on the inside even way back when,
Back
before I
then.
even knew it. And the other thing that through my journey, I guess similar to yours, is the heart. I've always believed my superpower is unconditional love. I don't know why. I don't know when that just dropped in. And my hair's pink. And when I started studying like the different color systems, that is unconditional love. And yeah, I
Mm.
just, I have my heart that closes off too sometimes, but it's very easy for me to come back to love and
Yeah.
forgiveness and be able to hold space and love on people. Like sometimes my
Yeah.
sessions is just telling somebody how much I love them
Yeah.
and them receiving that. It's just, it is like, how amazing is it that this is what we get to do now
I
is
get
talk
goosebumps.
from our heart. Oh,
I get
thank you.
goosebumps as you say that, Nichole, because I know you know this, but I kind of want to share it for people tuning in.
Mm,
That power to do that, because it is a power, it's a superpower, to love on someone so deeply, so profoundly, so in a way where maybe for the first time in their lives, right, they feel fully seen, they feel fully felt, they feel fully held in a container. like that cracks people open. That cracks people open, and the love that's coming in from your heart into this person, they'll initially think it's you. They'll initially think it's only your love that they're feeling. But what they're on a deeper level feeling, and this is the magic, this is the true impact of unconditional love, is that it awakens the unconditional love that is them, right? When we pour the fullness of our hearts into the fullness of someone else, even if they're unconscious to it, it awakens, right? It invites them home to what's been living inside of them.
It's just, yeah, I sometimes feel like it doesn't even come from me though as well. Like it does feel like that superpower. Like it's such a channel, and it's such a deep yearning that, yeah, it's super, and it is love is exactly where you, where it comes back to the pain, the heartache, have you ever journeyed with plant medicine? Have you ever journeyed?
Yes, so that was very much a part of my one of the other big pivotal
Yeah.
moments in my journey.
One of the very first question I had for my medicine journey was to heal my heart. As many people go through, they have a lot of heartbreak, and the lesson there for me, it was very strong, very powerful. But I actually, in the journey, went back into every other heart that I had hurt myself. So every other person where I had hurt them, and I had to go back into every one of those and heal that and feel their pain. I was like, oh fuck, like to be able to understand full pleasure and pain and love and break and understanding that it does start within us, like the forgiveness of self and the forgiveness of others. And like it is that, it's almost like that infinity sign. It's sharing and playing with that beautiful infinity and that love and that heart. And so, yeah, how beautiful that we get to play in this area.
What a powerful experience, right? And it shows us, I did a post this week on this, the role that these medicines play for us, the role that these medicines that Mother Earth, the heart of Mother Earth herself births from her creation to really act as another form of I refer to them as a divine mirror to bring us back to truth, right? Waiting for us. And I'm sure this has been in your journey as it was in mine. It wasn't like a going out to get the medicine. It was I'm pulled. I'm being
100%.
pulled. Yeah, I'm being pulled to this thing. I don't know why, but I need to have this in my consciousness to find something in mine.
I was terrified. I came from a drug addiction background. Like I was addicted to crystal meth. So for me to then play in a room, play with something when sobriety was is so powerful to my heart. Definitely something that I was called to. But plant medicine is a beautiful place to if you are ever called. Healings, and it can be done from mother cacao and so many different things, so many beautiful things. But yeah, so I'd love to know a little bit more about some of the things that have, like you said, that you get this calling, this feeling. So for people that are listening and they're like, what are these people talking about? I'd love for you to give your explanation on how to really follow your heart. Like what are some of the things that you innately help either your clients or what you feel and see? Because some people are like, I don't know what you guys are talking about, like following your heart or feeling into that.
Well, there's obviously many layers to it, and it's deep. There's a reason that the mystics teach the longest road you'll ever take is from your head into your heart, right? Because there is that one of the chapters in my book is named that the longest road to take is from here to here. So I guess the first thing I would say is don't expect it to be an overnight job. But I think one of the first indicators we can start to drop into, okay, what is a choice I'm making from ego, separation, and fear versus heart, expansion, purpose, and love is what is the scariest thing in my life that I'm saying no to, that I'm also being pulled towards, right? What is, like, as an example, right? Maybe it's, I'm terrified of getting my voice out on social media and making videos, but I keep watching Harrison's videos or I keep watching Nichole's videos and they light me up and I feel so excited about them. I'm being pulled to travel to the other side of the world and go to Bali for the first time or go to the US for the first time. I don't know why, but my heart really excites me, but there's fear here, there's a stop. Right, I'm being pulled to leave this job in the bank and start helping people with my hands. I don't know why, but I just feel like my hands are on fire when I'm around people, and it impacts people. But I'm terrified to take that step. So, summarizing here, that leading with your heart often means moving through the portal of fear that's most biggest and largest in your life.
Yeah. I love that. I love that explanation. Just definitely goes that next layer of it. One of my masters always, his favorite saying was, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasures that you seek. But I love that, like, you know, when your heart is pulled, like, you do have to push through that portal of fear.
Yeah. That quote, Nichole's on the bottom of my coaching intake form. Right, another resonance that we have. It's every person that comes in. It's the book that Joseph Campbell quotes right there at the start.
Joseph Campbell, that's it. Yeah. It's so powerful, and I guess because I've been in this world for a really long time, that I sometimes, you know, forget and then re-remember. And I still have my own fears, but for me, as soon as you say it out loud, like the biggest fear for me on this journey was telling my mum that I was addicted to drugs. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I did, like, I'd been battling it for a long time. I'd done my own drug and alcohol counseling behind the scenes and conscious coaching and all those things, and nothing was working. And as soon as the biggest fear of being judged by my parents, like, as soon as I said it out loud, it led to my journey of sobriety, and it actually led to hypnotherapy and energetics and conscious healing. Like, it led me on this path. And then I was like, oh, okay, God, universe, I get beautiful. It. Thank you for, like, taking me through that path. But yeah, as soon as you say something out loud, as soon as something else is coming up, and it's literally been the same thing, everything in my life, whether it's my, you know, divorce and my new beautiful relationship and anything else that I get scared to say out loud because of fear of being judged or hurt by somebody, or even on here. Like, when I first started talking about all these things, a few people in my life were like, Nichole, do you have to share that? And I was like, actually, I do.
I do.
Actually, I do. I actually do, because not only am I healing myself, like, these beautiful conversations feel like a coaching session in itself, as getting to be shared and to be witnessed and be heard in vulnerability, and then being a permission slip for somebody else. Like, you are so worthy of having a voice. You're so worthy of somebody else holding space for whatever you're going through. And so as soon as you have the courage to say it out loud or ask for help, that is it. That is the gift. And then the universe.
Yeah. I'll share, Nichole, share a tool with you and with your beautiful audience tuning in. Mm-hmm. It's a tool called the story game, and I implement this. You can implement it in any relationship you have, such as with your parents or your clients. Mm-hmm. Where I would start with it is where I've started with it is in romantic, intimate partnerships in your life, because the way that we do one thing is the way that we do all things, right? In my business container, I support the intimate relationships we also have in our life. Yep. And the story game is this: that fear that you just spoke about is 99% of the time a story that isn't real. And as soon as we express the story, as you're beautifully highlighting, if that story is held in a container of love, of acceptance, of consciousness, of safety, not only does that story and that energy move through you, but there is always more love on the other side. So the story game is simply creating a container either with you and your partner, you and your client, you and your friend, where the stories can be spoken, right? Whatever it is, the doubt, the abandonment, the rejection, that I'm not enough, that I'm not worthy enough, whatever it is, speaking the story and then allowing it to move. We don't need to respond. We don't need to critique, but we need to create loving space for it to be held so we can find out what's on the other side.
I love that. And it's something I think I might use that little metaphor for my kids as well. Like, let's play the story game. Let's put this in the safety toy box. Let's have that story. That's really beautiful. I love that. Something that we're so not taught in this world, to just to hold space for people's truth.
We're so conditioned. And I guess I want to ask you this question, Nichole. I want to throw this your way, because what brought me into your world specifically, other than just your beautiful energy and vibration and the way that you show up, is your relationship and the work that you're doing with children. And I'm just from my own journey, I can see the importance of my relationship with my little boy and my inner child on the inside, and how it's really been a big role in my awakening and how I show up in the world.
Hey everyone, Nichole here, and I hope you're enjoying today's episode. I just want to take a quick moment to talk to you all. If you're finding value in our conversations and loving the raw, honest dialogues we're having here, I've got a small favor to ask. This podcast is a passion project for me, and there's nothing I love more than bringing these stories and insights to you. So if you haven't already, would you consider subscribing to our show and leaving a review? It's completely free and it doesn't take much time, but it really helps us in two big ways. It's getting the podcast in front of more listeners, which keeps our community growing. It helps us attract more amazing guests, which means we give you more value in the episodes we bring to you. Just hit that subscribe button, drop us a review, and let's keep these conversations flowing. Now let's dive right back into our episode, and thanks so much for being a part of the Nichole's Show.
So I want to ask you, Nichole, this is kind of a two-part question. One, why the work with children? Why this conscious, spiritual, understanding, intentional, loving work with children? And two, in your opinion, why is this important for ourselves, right? If I'm working with children on the outside, and whether it's family or clients or friends, what is the relationship here between the external child and my internal child?
I get teary. It's just, it's definitely my sole purpose. And when I first started playing, it has multi-layers, but when I first started playing in this world of hypnotic language and healing my parts and the things that were going on in my external world, I was a young mom. My boys were 4 and 7. And I just started using conscious parenting and different tools and ranting and energetics with them. And they just got it. It was just so beautiful to witness them in their anger, their emotions. And I had the skills to unpack with them in a different way. And they get it. Like, you don't need to put them into trance or do a meditation. You can just ask the right questions and so they were getting these beautiful results with their own, emotions and behaviors. And so then I got asked to work with other kids, and my master at the time threw me in and was like, you need to go work with this child. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, and to build rapport with a child, because, an adult, they're paying you the money. You've already done the consult. And so I worked out this way where I let children pick me. Like, they absolutely have an out. They get to interview me. They get to say yes. And then I can do the sessions. I never work with a child unless they pick me. And now they always pick me. The energy is so important. And I guess I just kind of got out of my own way. I literally remember saying a lot of the time, I don't know what I'm doing. And I swear to God, swear to the universe, like every time I was, tapping into this child, the session would download. And I knew in that minute what they needed, whether it was playing with twigs or running outside and primal screaming or creating a dream catcher so they felt safe in their bedroom. It just kept coming to me. And so throughout the years, I created a resource library, because I was like, it is a download. It is beautiful. I'm just using all these different techniques to help other parents and children. However, I still kind of didn't know. And then I created the kids coach certification and what I was teaching to others, because we need more light workers. We help children. The whole universe changes. So I have this big vision that one day there'll be, hundreds of thousands of light workers working with kids, like Tony Robbins on the world stage. I'll be on the world stage, and we'll just have hundreds of thousands of people going, yes, I work with kids. I'm a mentor. I'm a light worker. I do this work. And it wasn't until I did this beautiful inner child healing, I think maybe 2 years ago it was now, where I realized how broken I was at 7. I really thought my journey started with my addiction, but it didn't. It started when I felt broken at school and I people pleased and I felt lonely and bullied. And so I created this mask for Nichole, and I really didn't know who Nichole was, but yet I was so desperately trying to be liked. And it's not as if I didn't have beautiful parents to speak of, but most children don't really unpack all their thoughts and feelings, even with their family, even with trusted people. And I was like, okay, I'm the coach now that I wanted when I was 7. I'm the coach now I wanted in year 11 when I had no friends. I'm the coach now that speaks about everything with anybody. It doesn't matter if it's sex or drugs or depression or suicide, like you name it, I can hold space for it. I'm not scared to dive into it, and I can be that person. So it's definitely healing my own timeline as I go through every single time with children, and holding that space. I definitely honor it. When a child picks me, I cry. Like, it doesn't matter about the exchange. It's about being that person, whether it's one session. And I've got children and youth that work with me for many, many years too. But them continually showing up means I get to show up for them. And it's a partnership. And that means that hopefully they will have the courage to follow their hearts and ask for help as their journeys go along.
Goosebumps, Nichole, goosebumps. So a couple of things. Firstly, honoring you and your beautiful purpose and mission. I already felt it when you started speaking, but now that you've sort of channeled the extra little bits around it, resonates very deeply with my heart. And a few things pop up. One, I would say, I think anyone in the world at the moment has probably met one of the new wave of children coming in. I know you probably definitely have with your work, but this new wave of children that are being, let's say, sent into this collective that we're in, they're such teachers. So when you say like they're picking you, to me, it's not just a soul resonance and them trusting and being loved and safe in your field. To me, it's another mirror of the wisdom keepers that are being incarnated in these timelines, right? These wisdom keepers that, for whatever reason, right, and we can talk about all things COVID and things that are happening in the world, but for whatever reason, there's this wave of knowledge that's being birthed through younger souls that when we create the space to just be with them, and this is work that I still need to work on, but just being in safe containers where we can receive from them, there's so much there to give, right? So much for them to give us.
100%. They teach me all the time, and I just love it. Like literally playing with them and helping them, and they do. Like one of my teenage boys said to his mum actually, that he loves working with me because I'm so intelligent. And I laughed because it's definitely not a reflection or how I would describe myself. But what I love about it is that I just play in his world. Like whatever it is, like whatever he's talking about, whether it's quantum physics or different opinions, I love that. Like I can just hold the space and be like, yeah, cool, and ask the right questions. And I mean, I don't think that I'm intelligent at all, but I am literally jumping into his universe and asking right questions and being fully intrigued. And I guess as a parent myself, I know that sometimes I'm not always the right person for my own children, or because I'm so busy, and that's not an excuse, but because I'm busy doing the housework and cooking and running people around doing things, I'm also not the right person. So having other like-minded light workers that work with my own children and families is so important, because they then feel so seen and so loved and can have those conversations that perhaps they wouldn't have with their family members. It's just a gift. Like it literally is the gift that goes both ways.
I love it, Nichole. Thank you for sharing. I'm like honoring your beautiful journey in the world. And also it's clicking some dominoes in my heart around, now I'm seeing the pulling here around this person and why I'm in this person's field. So
I love that. I love that. So I'd love to know, what part of Bali are you in? Like where are you?
So I'm currently in Ubud. So Ubud, I'm sure you've been, it's like the big spiritual hub of Bali itself. And there's kirtans, there's ecstatic dances, there's cacao workshops. For me, it's very nourishing being here, doing the things that I'm doing. And then, when I have time, going out and just being in the space, being in nature here, the water is such an element in Bali, and the waterfalls here really walking back home to my presence.
Yeah, and you've done the waterfall healings and the
yes, yeah.
I love. I'll be there in June. Back in there in June.
Maybe be back, so I'll maybe see you in the person.
That'd be perfect. That'd be perfect. Yeah. So for anybody that hasn't been to Bali, Australia is really funny. So, my ex was in the army, and there was definitely something that they kind of like, was really like, don't go to Bali. And Australians have a real funny, like they either love it or they hate it. But I fell in love with Bali, and I don't know if you know this man there, but there's a beautiful healer and master friend, my friend Jocko. He's a healer over there, and he's a transporter. But I don't think if I would have loved Bali so much if I hadn't met him, and he is a master healer over there and holds workshops and helps run retreats. But the Balinese people and the energy, it calls my heart to have the freedom and be nourished over there with their food and the people and just the energy of Mama Bali. It's so beautiful.
I think the energetic side that you're speaking about is a lesson in itself around going places around the world. I definitely wouldn't have come here until I was the version I am now, right? And the reason I came here now is because of that energetic side that you're speaking to. I was pulled here. I felt a resonance here. When I got here, I could experience it fully. Before this, I wouldn't have felt that. Before this, because of my own journey and because of the awakening path I've been on, my heart was closed. So I would have came here, I would have missed all of that, and maybe it wouldn't have hit me in the same way. So I think, for people tuning in, especially when you start traveling the world and if you feel this is part of your path, not every place is going to be right for you, but if you tune
Correct.
into your heart again, it's going to take you to the places that are going to activate and maybe bring up some things that you weren't aware of.
Yeah, that's so curious. That's the second time this has dropped in, but I really want to study my meridian lines.
Yes.
So apparently there are places and spaces across the world
Yes.
that you thrive in. Like, so
Yes.
depending on where you're living or whatever else. So that's twice, like yesterday and today. So I need to study that.
I had that meridian chat 2 days ago with someone.
Oh, did you? Or you'll have to give me those details later.
Yeah.
So I'd love to know just a little bit more about you. You mentioned before that you wrote a book. So I honestly I didn't see that in your socials. So tell me a little bit more about that, and also how people can find you and work with you, because you just have this, beautiful energy. And I find it's really beautiful to connect like-minded souls, because it's not all, this podcast is called the Nichole Show, but it's really tongue in cheek for the fact that I believe that there is enough clients for all of us. And I believe that, that we should take the masks off and really show, everybody's bits and pieces. So yeah, I'd love to know a little bit about your book and more about what you currently have on offer.
I love it that it's called the Nichole Show, because and has that intention of abundance, because to me, that's one of the biggest illusions that exists, is that we live in a universe of scarcity, right? And when we talk about ourselves, or we center something around ourselves, we're being selfish. We're being separate. But in reality, there is a middle ground here that you can walk between owning your strength, owning your magic, and being in a space where you share from fullness, and that attracts abundance. So Nichole doing a show that centers around her magic, and she knows how powerful and amazing she is, she's going to manifest and speak about abundance, and that ripples out into the universe, right? That awakens my abundance in my heart, right?
No, I hope so.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that actually connects to my book. Part of my journey, as I spoke about earlier, was a deep awakening of myself, and going through the steps and all the dark nights of the soul, and moving through trauma and abuse and all the things. And I got to a point in my journey, actually, after I'd ran a podcast similar to this, actually, for 3 years, from the start of COVID till right towards the end when it started tapering down. And that podcast brought in a lot of beautiful people, allowed me to speak a lot of truths and channel a lot of interesting topics and ideas. And I finally felt the calling to not just put all of that in one place, but also speak more about my journey and the shadows and everything I'd been through. So I channeled the book. The book is called Your Cosmic Love Antenna: Embody, Define, and Express Your Unique Frequency of Love. And very much teaches people how to tune into that unique presence that is them, to not just feel it internally, but if you're a light worker like myself and Nichole, how do you then express those gifts with the world, right? In a unique way, right? How do you start a podcast and start expressing those gifts through the podcast? How do you write a book? How do you start your unique business and make sure it's you, not just something you've read in a book, right? So the book is very much around that. And then, much like I explained at the start of this chat, my business in the world really talks about the tools and goes much deeper into that on a practical level. If people, they'll see my social media as you did, you'll very quickly, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, you'll very quickly see and feel that I'm not here to speak about the surface. I very much, like I did in those PT sessions in the gym, on my social media and the things I write, I'm here about getting to the heart of things. And I truly believe that in order to show up in our unique magic and our unique presence, we need to not just speak from the light. We need to not just speak from the love. We also need to speak from the pain that needs to be transformed. So as an example, when I speak about my trauma, my challenge, my abuse, all the things, I'm not here to bleed all over social media, but what I am here to do is to share where I've risen from the darkness to inspire other people that they can do it too, right? So a big part of my work in the world is highlighting this full spectrum of what we are.
And thank you for being that permission slip and having the courage to speak it, because it is painful to speak from those deep, vulnerable places, but landing on people's ears to really help. And I love that, you are so connected to your heart, because every modality that I've ever learned from always does speak about connecting from the heart and holding space for our clients from the heart. And again, it's something that we're so unconditioned out of, live out of your head and think from your mind and study this. And yet it's innately the core of everything. If we can lead with our heart, lead with love, lead with vulnerability, use the courage from there, follow the pull. Like I honestly believe, even speaking, like getting into that engagement, like really hearing what your heart's desires are, he or she never leads you wrong, so I really, really love that.
And it's, I'll just say this, Nichole, to that point is, this is how you impact. And what I mean by that is, as soon as I stepped into the business world, right, as soon as I started building something and offering gifts and offering services, from the earliest time I can remember, whether it was in person or on Zoom meetings, I would have people reflect back to me that they just loved the way that I talked. They just loved the way that I expressed myself. And it almost didn't matter what I was speaking about. It was the way that I was expressing myself and sharing my heart through the words that were spoken. And this is really why it matters. It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're working with beautiful children, whether you're working with healers, whether you're a cryptocurrency, whether you are whatever your business is. If you infuse intentionally, consciously your heart into all that you do, that's what keeps people around. We don't remember what people said. We remember how they made us feel. And that feeling power is your heart. And we all have access to that.
Yeah. Oh, that's so important. I felt that. So interesting. I had a very unheart-led conversation with a teacher this week. And so my heart was very closed and the interaction was not.
Yeah. And you know it.
Not as fun. 100%.
You know the opposite.
All right. So when Monday comes around and I have that next meeting, I will make sure that my heart is fully open so it's heard and felt. But yeah, isn't that interesting? I was just like, oh yeah, and
and that's okay, Nichole. By the way, I don't just say this to you because I love you. I say this to people that because when I tune into that and suddenly there's judgment and guilt and shame around all those times that I didn't do that. And no, right? I would say, I'll just speak for myself. I'm so grateful for my years of unconsciousness and only speaking from pain and separation. Because each of those moments, and I get goosebumps whenever I say it, right? Each of those moments was an opportunity to come home, right? Each of those moments was for me to be like, oh, that's what happened, right? It's so easy for me to say this is how you do it internally, but one of the best ways to start learning how to speak from your heart is to look at what happened on the outside, right? Look at the ramifications and the things going on in your reality that are manifesting outside of you, and you can see, oh, I don't want my life to be like this. So what's the alternative? Oh, I need to do something else.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely was courage. It definitely got mixed in with the head and there was a lot of fear-based. But, I also, the words that I use are love and leadership. It does take real courage to speak from your heart and speak your truth. And sometimes it does need to be a bit ferocious, like you said before. So, definitely come back into it so that it's a different conversation on the Monday. But yeah, I love
Let me know how it goes.
I 100% will. I 100% will, because I just love that. I was like, oof, I definitely know that particular incident this week, I was not in my heart for the whole of it. And it created some disrupt. And isn't that interesting?
Yes. Let's speak about this for a little bit moment more, Nichole, because I know it's a bit vulnerable, but this is the stuff. This is the juiciness, right? Some of my favorite moments to infuse more heart are the moments where we come back to a situation that didn't have heart, right? Like the exact perfect example that you're giving right now. And the reason I love it is because it comes when we've sat with something for a little bit longer. Usually what happens is more comes up, right? More triggers, more wounds, more inner child stuff, more whatever it is. So in that, let's just call it in that moreness, we then step back. We have the courage, the fierceness to step back into that same situation. To me, it's more healing, right? Because you've had space for things to come to the surface, and now you're choosing to step back into it with love, and you're going to transform all of that.
100%. Are you going to tell me that it's time to go? We've nearly finished. Want to say hello? This is beautiful, Aurora. You don't get to be on my...
He's not going.
He's not going yet. That's okay.
I don't want him to go.
You don't normally get to be on my podcast, do you? Say hi, Harrison. He's in Bali. We're going to be in Bali.
Hi, Aurora.
Say hello.
Hi. Hi.
Well, I do believe, my friend, that is my cue to probably wrap it up as mum life is calling, teenager and daughter. Definitely. Thank you
for having me.
No, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing so much energy and so much love. I definitely want to get a copy of your book, and I'm going to pop all your details underneath so people know where to find you. And yeah, perhaps we will actually meet in person in a
Yeah, I mean, I'll just plant the seed before you jump off. I'm going to be in Australia next week, right? So I'm coming home. Before I come back to Bali, I'm going to be in Australia. So I'm heading home next week, end of next week. And I'm going to be there for at least a month, 2 months maybe. So we'll set something up.
100%. We will definitely chat beyond this. And thank you so much for being my brother on here and sharing love, because that's a big part of my mission as well in the world. So it's been a delicious conversation, and speak very, very soon.
I appreciate it. Talk soon.